going to paint a picture of outer space. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my artboard landscape, but you could probably do it portrait if you want to. But anyway, I'm going to start by getting some black paint. Fill in the entire board with black. So I'm using a nice flat brush, see, so it's got a nice wide width, and that way I can cover a lot of space quickly. So since I'm doing space, I want to see some planets. I want to show some maybe a sun, a moon, and some different things like that. So round objects that I'm going to trace around. So maybe I'll make this a planet Earth. So we'll go with that. Maybe I'll throw a sun over here, and let's trace around that. So when you're maybe doing this, just find different things that are around, different sizes. That way you can add some variety in your picture. So have some, yeah, I'll go ahead and fill that good. Okay, so why don't I start off with my sun here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some yellow. So I have a nice bright happy sun. Take a little bit of yellow. Since yellow is kind of a wimpy color, I'm going to go ahead and add some white to that to get out of the way. So I think I'll go ahead and turn this circle into my sun. So I'll go ahead and fill in this area. And so, alright, so at this point I have my sun filled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create kind of a glow around it, maybe add some little solar flares off the edge of it. So how I'm going to create my glow is maybe I'll take a little bit of white and around the edge here, and I'll just kind of blend it across a little bit with my finger. Light going around the outer edge of my sun here. It's like little bursts of light breaking free from around the edge here. It's kind of random a little bit, a little sporadic, not too uniform, a little more organic in shape. And burst that here and there through various sections of the area around my sun here. And that will make my sun seem a little more like a ball of fire than just a big round circle. And what I'm going to work on now is I'm going to make this big circle over here, my planet Earth. I'm just going to show you some stuff here with this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some blue. So I'll put some blue in here. Boop. And okay, so now I've got my Earth all filled in with blue. I'm going to create some highlights and some shadows to give this more of a three-dimensional look to it. So here's my sun. So this is where my light source is going to be coming from, this direction. So I'm going to come over here towards the side of my planet Earth that is facing the sun, and I'm going to take a little bit of white here, and I'm going to create kind of a highlighted area. So while this paint's still wet a little bit, I'm going to blend some white into my blue to brighten this side up a little bit, so you can see where the sun shines down on the Earth here. So over here on the other side, I'm going to do the opposite thing. I'll take me a little bit of black and blend it together with my blue, create a darker blue. Okay, so now I've got some highlights, got some shadows. I'm going to go ahead and throw some little continents over here. So I'm going to do that is I'm going to mix up some green. So I'm going to mix up my green. So I'm going to take some blue and yellow. Alright, so now I've got some continents and things like that, so it looks a little more like the Earth. I'm going to go ahead and add some clouds and different things around the atmosphere of the Earth. So I'll take a little bit of white. It's kind of come around the edge, and I'll just kind of blend that across a little bit with my finger, so we can see some of these different clouds and things floating around the Earth's atmosphere. Just right over the top. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is maybe work on some of these other little planets that I have floating around here. Yeah, I'll just take some red. I'm going to add some highlights and some shadows to kind of round out the shape. Okay, so now on the side that is closest to the sun, I'm going to take some white and I'm going to blend a little bit of light to create some highlights. Opposite thing, so instead of blending white, I'll blend a little bit of black to darken. I'll turn the circle into a moon. So I'm just going to take some white and I'm going to fill in this circle with white. Okay, so now I've got this pretty well filled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to create some shadows with my blue here. So I'm going to go on the opposite side of where the sun is. It's the back side of the moon where it's not getting the light shining on it. And I'll blend a little bit of blue to create some shadow there. And I'll create some little spots of texture here. The moon's kind of a rocky, lumpy surface. Alright, so I've got some planets, I've got a sun, I've got a moon. What I'm going to go ahead and do is maybe add some stars, maybe even have a few little shooting stars. So how I might do that is tap and then just kind of swoop off. So then I've got a few little shooting stars, and I'll just do that all over throughout my sky here. Like I said, I'm going to maybe add some little gassy lights and glows throughout the sky. So I'm going to use a variety of colors to do that. So maybe what I'll do is start off with a little bit of red. Just kind of swirl this across and maybe pull this out a little bit with my finger to blend it out. Maybe I'll take some blue through here. So you can do that with a whole variety of colors. Maybe I'll do some greens over here. Alright, so at this point, I've got my sky pretty well filled in. Stars and planets and other gases and things like that to liven it up, make it a little more interesting. So you get to that point, you are welcome to add any other things that you feel might be interesting. If you want to have more planets, you want to add, I don't know, a spaceship. Maybe I'll throw a little rocket ship shooting up through space. You can add whatever you want to your picture to make it a little more interesting. That'll be up to you if you want to take more of a creative route, but fill in the space, make it interesting. Use this opportunity to be creative with your painting. Anything else that you feel like you might see in space that you feel like would make your picture more interesting, more dynamic, feel free to add any of those embellishments to your photo, to your painting. Okay?